Good afternoon, it's Monday, September 3. I'm Milton Walker with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. It's the start of the new academic term, and what motorists thought would be a major traffic pile-up on the Constant Spring Main Road was far from it. Our crews were out early this morning. Here's TVJ's O'Shane Masters with the details.
Traffic police out in their numbers as they directed the early morning traffic on Constant Spring Road as early as 6 o'clock Monday morning. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says he is pleased with the traffic flow in the corporate area.
The traffic flow has been pretty smooth so far. I mean, I was down by the diversion onto East Avenue from Marcus Garvey on that side. And it's set up really to take the traffic. We'll see how it works, especially going into Halfway Tree. We have personnel, at all the important intersections and so on. And so we'll keep it flowing. It's flowing better than normal. There's a route I take, and it's this morning seems to be pretty good so far.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang was out on the streets with the Commissioner observing the new traffic measures.
The portion of Miller Square, for example, was desperately closed for at least 9 months. So throughout this period, we expect to maintain the traffic management team on the road. As I said, it may be less intense sometimes, but we expect to maintain the team out there. The Commissioner, of course, will make operational changes, but what we want to assure the public is that we are going to take steps to ensure good traffic flow in the corporate area.
Dr. Chang is reassuring the public that the measures implemented by the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, will be in place for more than just a week.
My understanding is that the major works will take at least a year to go, and we'll have to maintain our presence out there during that time to ensure the flow goes on. We monitor on a daily basis. There could be redeployment. As the bikes are moving around, the traffic center monitors the stoplights based on what cameras are working, as well as senior officers out on the road.
Our news team caught up with one motorist who gave his feedback on his commute.
This is the only way I see it can work to facilitate the work expansion.
Which end are you coming from?
I'm coming from Emmanuel Christian Academy, Oliver Road.
So how's that traffic?
It's all right.
It's all right. How long have you been on the road?
For about 30 minutes.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, at the 3 Miles intersection, traffic moved rather smoothly with the implemented changes. However, there were some slight glitches as the morning progressed. Here's TVJ's Herman Green.
One of the main detours in the corporate area Monday morning was the diversion of traffic from the Portmore Toll Road onto Marcus Garvey Drive instead of into the 3 Miles intersection. That flowed freely, except for slight delays where the 3 lanes of traffic merged into 2. Those vehicles flowed freely through the designated one-way on East Avenue and onto Spanish Town Road, Maxfield Avenue and Waltham Park Road. It was not that smooth for vehicles coming down Spanish Town Road to that intersection, however, as they had delays stretching as far up as 3 miles at times. There were reports of major delays at the Portmore toll booth. According to Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations, Clifford Blake, that was created by more motorists from out of town using the toll road.
Most motorists coming from the Spanish Town here on the western end of the island, they choose to take the Portmore toll this morning, which has resulted in excessive traffic along that thoroughfare, which has caused congestion. But I think the real test will come on Wednesday morning when all the schools have reopened, and that's when we'll be given the opportunity to make a proper assessment as to how well the alternative routes are working.
On the Mandela Highway, there were also ripple delays created by the installation of new traffic signals at the intersection with Tom Crindle Drive. This morning signaled the start of the new school year. However, with some schools to reopen later this week, the true test for managing traffic may still be yet to come. Herman Green, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, how efficient were the changes that were implemented for the start of the new school year today? We're now joined on the phone by Commanding Officer for the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, Senior Superintendent Calvin Allen, to get some Allen. SSP Allen, good afternoon.
A pleasant afternoon to you, sir, and good afternoon to our listening audience.
How did the new measures work out this morning?
The measures worked very well. In fact, traffic flowed very well along all the major corridors, all the areas that traffic was diverted to as a result of the roadworks taking place at the critical areas. Our officers were strategically deployed and was able to assist the traveling public in getting to their various places on time. One of the things that is key is getting to the respective areas within reasonable time so that you prevent from pretty early anything that may happen that is out of the norm.
SSP Allen, one of the things that we noticed this morning that a lot of persons didn't use the Mandela Highway but chose to come into the city via the Portmore Toll Road. And so you had a bit of a extra traffic and bottleneck at the toll booths in Portmore. And Mandela appears to have flowed fairly smoothly, but that appears to have been with less than normal traffic. How do you explain that?
Well,
how would you deal with that when they because not every week they will decide to go through the toll booth?
Right, and so even the full aspect of the true test is not yet realized. Some schools are not yet fully opened, so we are quite aware of what is happening. We are quite aware of persons choosing to use one route or the other. But we are still strategically deployed to ensure that from whichever angle persons choose to engage, that we have presence to treat with that. And if there needs to be any form of redeployment so as to treat with a volume that might be higher on any corridor, we are prepared to do that.
Where were there impediments this morning to the smooth traffic flow in the city?
Well, that very area you mentioned of the Portmore toll, and it occurred as a result of a lot of commuters deciding to use that particular area other than to go through, because a lot of these commuters would have used the 6 miles into Spanish Town Road that would take them into PSM Square.
Okay,
so
SSP
they
Allen.
having heard of some of the changes, decide to play it safe and to use the Portmore toll. And in fact, I am happy that they have started to do that, because the full implementation of the lockdown kicks in a few days' time. So they're getting the practice from now, and we getting the feel of exactly how the thing will flow. We will be alert enough to strategize and re-strategize if we have to take care of the commuting public.
SSP Allen, thank you very much. SSP Allen, head of the PSTEB. And it was not a smooth day for school children and some commuters in St. James. TVJ's O'Shane Masters tells us why.
It's officially the first day of the new academic year, but students and other commuters alike were left stranded in the western city for hours Monday morning. This as operators of the Montego Bay Metro Company in St. James decided not to carry out their normal operations due to the deplorable condition of some of its buses. Conductors and mechanics also joined in the protest over the lack of health cards and new uniforms. National Workers Union Island Supervisor Kurt Fletcher says the dispute between the union and the bus company has been long-standing.
There's also the issue of parity that we have been trying to negotiate with the management, different boards for the last 4 years, where a washer, for example, at the JUTC earns more than a driver here.
Mr. Fletcher told TVJ News that discussions have taken place between the NWU on behalf of the workers and the Ministry of Transport, but no information is forthcoming.
We have written to them as late as the 21st of August, and they have not even had the decency to respond to us to establish what the process is or where they're at with regards to all the demands that the workers are rightfully and legitimately making.
However, the union representative says they will be pressuring the Transport Ministry until clear improvements are made.
The workers are not going to let up until we have something definitive. Earlier this morning, I saw them distributing some uniforms. If it takes that to get uniforms, imagine what it will take to get other things. And we're saying that we are not going to let up until parity is given to the workers. We're not going to let up until the health card situation is settled. And we're not going to allow our people to be culpable in driving a defective vehicle and putting our Jamaican students or Jamaican workers at risk on these roads.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
The Education Ministry says primary school teachers are to receive the full curriculum for the Primary Exit Profile PEP exam next week. Education Minister Senator Royal Reid made the announcement in his back-to-school address yesterday evening. Last month, the Jamaica Teachers Association, the JTA, said teachers were not ready to prepare students for PEP and requested that the start date be delayed. But the Education Minister insists that PEP will proceed. He said more than $200 million was provided to schools for the implementation of the new curriculum. Senator Reid also gave an outline of the steps being taken to prepare teachers and students for PEP.
By September, a full publication will be sent to school with sample practice questions for all 3 years of preparation for PEP. The ministry is working with 2 noted publishers to produce sample question booklets, which will be available to the public by the 2nd week in September. Our parent sensitization sessions around the island will continue. Short videos are also being made available on social media regarding PEP for persons to access.
The National Parent Teachers Association of Jamaica, NPTAJ, is defending the action taken by the principal of Calabar High School, Albert Korcher, against students who failed to achieve the 60% average. A letter was sent to parents of students whose average was below a 60% average over the summer to find alternative schools or participate in the school's intervention program. Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica on Monday, President of the NPTAJ, Lennon Richards, says schools have the right to keep an academic standard and take action in the interest of the school and its students. He adds that Mr. Korcher was not alone when the decision was made to install the new rules. Mr. Richards says the NPTAJ...
When a child performs excellently and that foot form he gets a 60 average, then discretion has to be exercised. When a child performs, low average and increase to 60 in foot form, then discretion has to be exercised as well. But when a child consistently performs very low and that foot form going into exams, the average is very, very low, then something has to be done.
He said students who fall below the 60% average have many other alternatives to choose from if they find themselves in that situation.
They're very best and they're not academically inclined. They're not going to be just kicked out or kicked away from school. It's a matter of putting them in the right context of things, which they can actually advance themselves in an area which they will be comfortable with. Because if you want to become a medical doctor and you cannot pass the sciences, then you'll never be. And if there's a misfit, as I said before, then the principals, in their wisdom, will make sure that they recommend the best fit for the student. Some are not academically inclined, some are vocationally inclined. And if that is the case, then that is going to be the case. They put them where their greatest comparative advantage is. Nothing is wrong with that.
Mr. Richards says the NPTAJ, along with stakeholders, agreed on this decision with the principal. Political firebrand Joan Gordon Webley has been confirmed as the PNP's flag bearer for St. Andrew East Rural. Mr. Gordon Webley was officially presented to comrades at the Harbourview primary on Sunday by PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips. The East Rural St. Andrew seat is held by the JLP's Juliet Holness. Mrs. Gordon Webley, herself a former member of the Labour Party, took aim at her opponent over what she says is her poor performance to date, particularly in bringing value to farmers along the coffee belt in the constituency.
Under PNP, I was being paid $13,000 above. Today, comrades, the price is $3,000 and going down. I asked myself, what is left? Absolutely nothing. So many farmers are now allowing the coffee to ripe in the field and drop on the ground because we simply cannot afford to carry on.
In sports, Grace Kennedy earned the right to face former champions Petrojam in the finals of the Cassava Business House Division 1 League after getting by the RGR Gleaner Group 3-2 on penalties in the second semi-final at the Alpha Institute yesterday. The teams had earlier played to a goalless draw and after full and extra time before they went out to the lottery shootout. While Grace Kennedy converted 3 of their 4 kicks, the RGR Gleaner Group, who kicked first, missed twice.
Well, it was a tough game, but we planned for this game. One of the things we planned to do is shut down Ryan Miller and then take it from there. We knew that once you go into penalty, we have a good stop shutter, and that will take us home.
Grace Kennedy and Petrojam, who edged Scotiabank 1-0 on Saturday, will meet in next Sunday's final. And that's Midday News. I'm Milton Walker. Join us at 7 for primetime news on behalf of the news, sports and production teams. Good afternoon.